how I make chords and how you should also probably make chords is to... What's going on, Charlie? It's Guys here, back with another video. Now today, guys, I'm going to show you 5 very simple steps how to how to make better chords instantly. I'm also going to show you examples of very good chord progressions that you can use right away. I'm also going to teach you how to stop struggling with chord progressions and start making your own really easily. And make sure, guys, you watch the whole video, because once again, I've got a free surprise for you guys at the end of the video. So like and subscribe if you want more of those videos, and let's get into it. Alright, as you can see, we are already in FL Studio, and before we talk about chords, we have to talk about the minor scale. Before we even start with chord progressions, you gotta go here, go to Helpers, Scale, Highlighting, choose A and Minor. What it's gonna do is going to highlight all the notes from the A minor scale on your keyboard, just like this. What I just played and what is highlighted right here are the notes of the A minor scale, and each and every note of the scale can form a so-called diatonic triad. What diatonic triads are basically all the chords within a scale. For example, here are all the diatonic triads of the A minor scale. And those diatonic triads are the base of all the chord progressions that you're gonna be using in your beats. One last thing, guys, about the diatonic triads, and I promise you guys, we're gonna get to the good stuff. So this last thing is that those diatonic triads can be represented by numbers, and more specifically, Roman numerals, Roman numbers. It's very, very simple, guys. You just have to think about the scale that you're in as if it's a series of steps or numbers. So in the case of A minor, A is the first step, then B the second step, third step, fourth step, fifth step, sixth step, seventh step, and back to 1. This is going to be the 1 chord of the scale. That was going to be the second chord of the scale, so the 2 chord. And this chord has this sort of tension between the notes, so it's called the 2 diminished chord. Now going up the scale, we have the 3rd chord, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now to the good stuff. How I make chords and how you should also probably make chords is to start with the bass notes. I'm gonna start with F. No. I'm going to start with D. So the 4th step of the scale. We're obviously in A minor. It's also a very good idea to change the rhythm of your chords, just like I did here. I think I'm happy with that. Now, if you want to make your chords from bass notes, it's very, very easy. Just make sure you have your scale highlighting on, A minor. What you do right now is you just fill in every other note of the scale. It's very simple, just like this. D, we leave E, F, we leave G, A. Then we got E, we leave F. Yeah, every other highlighted note, just like this. Here, here. We just put it up an octave, Control and up. Now this is a quite good progression, but it's not yet ready, because we are going to spice that thing up. One thing you can do is highlight all the bass notes of your chords and put them down 1 octave or even 2 octaves. Now that sounds good, but we want to spice this up even more. So we're going to add so-called extensions to the chords. What I mean by that is we're just gonna add more and more notes to the chords, just like this. And also it's really easy to do that because we apply the same principle as before. So we skip 1 note and we do this. Once again, skip 1 note, do this. Skip 1 note, put the note just like that. And now the chord progression is going to sound way more interesting. As you can tell, guys, this is a dope little chord progression that we made right there. Also, the extended chords that we have now are called the 7th chords, and these bad boys are called the 7th chords just because we add the 7th note of the chord's minor scale or major, if you have a major 7th chord, to the chord. Let me explain. For example, the first chord that we have is called the D minor 7 chord. And this chord is called like that because we added the 7th note or the 7th degree of the D minor scale to the chord. So C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we got the E minor 7 chord. And once again, what we added to the chord is the 7th note of the E minor scale in this case, in the case of E minor chord. 1, 2, well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, D. And now the last chord that we have in this progression is a little bit different because it is the major chord. It is A major 7th. We added the 7th step of the F major scale. You can also add more complicated extensions to the chords, but those chords, really like large, lush chords, are going to be more jazzy, more R&B-ish. Now, guys, I want to give you some examples of chord progressions that I use a lot, that sound very good. And for example, the chord progression we just made is called 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As you can tell, there's no one chord, there's no tonic in this progression. The next chord progression that I got for you is a little bit more jazzy. It has a lot of extensions. It's a very complicated chord progression. But as you can see, we got 1, we got 4, we got 6, and we get 5. Now the next chord progression is 1, 4, 6, and it sounds like this. It has a very melancholic vibe, quite a sad chord progression. And as you can see, I did an inversion in the second chord. I pulled this A down, once again, just because it sounds way better like that. And one more thing about this chord progression, guys. I told you this chord progression is 1, 4, 6. I lied to you.
Or did I?
So let us just take a second to look at it, shall we? Now those bass notes definitely don't look 1, 4, 6. This is 4 and this is 6, but it's not 1. This is 1, 2, 3. But let us just take a quick look at the chord above the bass note. It's the 1 chord. It's A minor. So why didn't I put A in the bass like this? The thing is, you can actually change the bass notes of your chords. For example, the bass note doesn't necessarily need to be the root note of your chord, so A. It can be C, so the third, the minor third. And I think it sounds way more interesting than this. So that's why. And the last chord progression is very dark. It's 1, 2 diminished, 6, 4. As you can hear, guys, this chord progression is really dark, and all that is because of this chord. It is the second chord of the A minor scale, and it's called B diminished. It just adds a lot of tension to the chord progression, and it's very dark. I also added a little bit more tension to a chord progression by dropping this F to E, because the normal chord is this. And I just dropped it, just to make more tension between the notes. You can also obviously experiment with different voicings of your chords. So you can move, for example, this note up, I don't know, like this note. And those chords are gonna stay the same, but they are just gonna sound a little bit different. Right now, guys, let's just make a quick beat with this chord progression, shall we? Alright boys, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe down below if you haven't already, if you want to see more of those videos. Also, I want to thank you that you stayed to the end of this video, and I'm going to give you a free FLP project for this session, for this beat, for this all the chord progressions. And maybe I'll even throw in a couple more chord progressions for you guys for free, obviously, linked down below in the description. If you want all those chord progressions and the FLP for free. That's it for me, guys, and see you in the next one.